everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is the third and final part of this getting together a project for my local fair. I will say there are other parts to this project that I will be submitting to the fair, but that won't be viewable until later this year because I am releasing those videos as part of my Vlogmas Christmas series because they're like accessories and that's my theme for this year. Anyway. This jacket pattern I have done before. It is Vogue's 9052 with, I do the full length sleeve version because it is a whole jacket and I personally don't like 3/4 sleeves on jackets. It limits the type of sleeves I can wear underneath it because I do take the jackets and put them with other things. Universality. Anyway. I have yet to be able to finish this because I'm waiting for the buttons to come. The buttons were probably a little more expensive than I would have liked. However, you will see at the end of the video, they are Tudor roses in a antique brass. So, the reason it's taking a while is they're coming from another country. You can probably guess which one because they're Tudor roses. But, otherwise, the jacket is still. The exterior shell is the cream wool, so it does match the dress, but the lining is a blue polyester dead stock floral, like peach skin type fabric. It's very lovely on the skin. It is slick like a lining fabric, so it's easy to get on and off, unlike my fedora, which I still need to fix. I did decide to leave out the shoulder pads because I have figured out I have wide shoulders. This is the edge of my shoulder. I'm glad that I have figured that out because I just have wide shoulders. So when things call for shoulder pads, I don't really need them. This jacket, I did not do the false pockets on them. If they had been real pockets, I would have done them. But they are just flaps that you top stitch on. I personally don't like that. I think it's kind of insulting. It may have been a historic thing. They may have originally had these pockets as real, but I don't want to just have fake pockets and then go to put something away and realize, oh yeah, that's a fake pocket. If I were a little more experienced in tailoring, I would have put a welted pocket and then used the flap as a flap. But I'm not that experienced yet, so I did do pad stitching along the collar. I don't show that in this video because I just wanted to sit down and do it and not worry about it. If you want to see me pad stitching, I can direct you towards the pad stitching video where I pad stitched the collar, the lapels, all of that. I did put horsehair interfacing into the front of the jacket so it does hold up well, and I did do welted bound buttonholes for the jacket because this is a jacket video. This jacket required 2.5 yards of material for the white wool, which is $25. It required 1.5 yards of material for the interior, so that was $15, so that's $40. $3 for thread, so that's $43. So I'm gonna say it was approximately $55, just in material costs, not counting labor costs. I think that's relatively good for a suit jacket because I have another part to this that you will see later, like next week, where it does become kind of a traditional suit. This jacket. So $55 for a suit jacket is really reasonable, at least in supply costs. However, it did take me 1 day for the shell, another day for the sleeves, another day for the inner sleeves, and so 4 days to make this. I always give myself a day to do sleeves because when I do sleeves, I want to focus on just doing the sleeves. I don't want to have to worry about getting the sleeves done, getting buttonholes, just having a whole big to-do list. So I have always broken it down to, this is a sleeve day, anything else I get done is good. but that gives me an approximate of 4 days to do this jacket. So dress and jacket together took a week. So with that cost, say I'm getting paid $15 an hour for 40 hours, say a 40-hour week, it's quite a bit of money. So it was much cheaper for me to make this than to buy it. Altogether though, I say I got a good deal. It's what I wanted. I will be wearing this jacket a little more than I'll be wearing the dress. However, I will try to wear this to more dressy occasions, therefore nicer occasions. Mainly because I don't want to have to dry clean this like every week. Expensive. And I don't like being expensive. I like to be a little bit frugal. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave those down below. I will try to get back to you. As it is, like, very few people leave me comments or questions or anything down below. So if you want to, feel free. It does help me to understand what I could be doing better. So I will see you all next time. Bye. So if you've watched a couple of my other videos, I have done this jacket before, like twice. So I'm following the exact same steps, except this time I'm using a horsehair canvas instead of the cheap poly stuff you can get from Joann's, and I am not trimming it at all. I am doing the bound buttonholes, not the thread buttonholes. So other than that, this is exactly the same as the other ones I've done. The only difference is it's in white wool. And if you've ever worked with a light colored material, you know it is stressful, because it just is. Like, I was worried that these markings would show through, but I need the markings to be able to sew the jacket. And then I was like worried about the front looking nice, the back looking nice. Like, even looking at it now, I can see all the seam allowances through it, but it is a white wool jacket, and there's not a lot I could do about that. Like, I could have flatlined the whole thing, but that would have just made it so structured. Like, so structured. Here I'm getting ready to do the bound buttonholes. They were nice and gave me this placket to work with. I already, if you see that those lines, those are my stay stitching basting marks that are the seam allowance for the jacket. So I just took this gold Sharpie because I thought it wouldn't show as much, and it doesn't, but it also doesn't sink into the fabric and stay there. It just spreads everywhere. So, and then I'll just use this and go around the hole twice and then cut it open and do all the hand seaming finishing of that. I have shown how to do that before. If I remember, I'll try to link that down in the video below, but it is just how to do bound buttonholes video. I go around each of those holes twice because I feel it helps to make sure that it's a continuous opening. You could sew this by hand. You could also sew this by just like straight stitching all the way around it by machine. My machine has a buttonhole. I'm going to use it. Here I am making the darts on the back, and this is where I figured out that the Sharpie wasn't really working, and it was just kind of spreading and marking all over the fabric, and yeah, I just wasn't too happy at that moment. I was still going to use it because I figured it wouldn't show as much on the other side of the material, but it was a kind of like a trade-off. And I was using the purple for another project, if you're wondering why that purple thread is out. I was using it for basting on another project. Let's see. Yes, I have explained how to do bound buttonholes before. Doing darts, the biggest tip I can give for doing darts is when you get to the pointy end, do 3 stitches right along that edge, like 2 or 3 stitches, and then tie off your thread, because that helps to, you don't get the bubble effect as much when you do it that way, but that's just me. This time I tried not to over structure this jacket. It is a 1940s jacket. This is during rationing. Well, 1949 jackets. They're coming out of rationing, but they still have a lot of that mindset of waste not, want not. So I tried not to over structure the front of the jacket or any of the other parts. I just kind of left I didn't pad stitch the front of this jacket at all. I just kind of let it be. But yeah, there I was stitching up the front and back. I did mess up the color a little bit. Instead of doing one color one way and the other one color on the lining and then matching them up, I just matched it up here and went with it. It doesn't make too much of a difference at the end product, but if I could go back and redo it, I would do it with the instructions because it makes it just a little less bulky, because that seam gets opened up and pressed, as opposed to the modern method of making it this way. I will say this is a little bit longer of a video than my usual one, but it is making an entire tailored jacket, so even speeding it up and skipping and not showing you all the hand stitching I did, it still is a little interesting. And then I also had to wait like 2 weeks for my fabric lining to get here, but I'm really glad I did because this suits it like down to a T. It is a very vintage inspired fabric, even if I did get too much. So here I am marking the darts for the sleeves. Yes, it does have 2 sleeve darts. That does help to hold the darts in place. And this is where I realized that this wool just isn't good at marking, and just to go with it and let it be and use lighter colored and blot, as you can see. Yes, I am sewing in my pajamas. If I can get away with it, I wear pajamas whenever I can at home. When I go out, I like to look nice. I like to look put together, but at home, I will wear my pajamas as much as I can. I've made a deal with my Chitlin that if he has to get dressed, I'll get dressed too. So, taking advantage of summer break while I can. Once I've sewn those darts and pressed them and weighted them down so that they won't move around on me, I am matching up ends and pieces and then wiggling the fabric to make sure everything fits, and stretching it a little bit because this is wool and it does have a little bit of stretch to it. So I'm just making sure all this lines up pretty well and pinning it down so that it doesn't wiggle around too much. It's not velvet, so I'm not wanting to shoot myself in the foot for choosing a fabric that I know will want to kill me. I swear, velvet does want to kill you. It sneakily plots behind you. And here I am setting the sleeves. There's not a lot of tips I can give about setting sleeves except to take your time, move slow. When you're doing a lined jacket like this, you don't have to worry too much about having to finish these sleeves. I do recommend double stitching it, like stitching 1/8 of an inch away from your original seam, because that helps to strengthen the shoulders and make sure that they won't pop out of place. But other than that, there isn't a lot of tricks I can give you. I've never had a huge amount of problems with sleeves, knock on wood. But my issue has always just been the final finishing, like finishing off seams and putting on buttons and making sure everything lines up. Because by that point I am tired and I just want the project done. Like, I want to wave a magic wand and go, bye bye project, you are no longer my concern, I will just wear you now. I have been known to just pin things. I have been known to stab myself with those pins or scratch my hands with them. and that's not even well like fitting. That's like, yeah. Doing these YouTube videos has made me put more effort into actually finishing the garment so that I can, you know, properly wear it and not be scratched all to ever-living heck. And sleeves always take a while because I'm trying really hard to match things up and just get it right the first go so I don't have to rip anything out. I will say that I like how the jacket fits on me. However, if you don't have broad shoulders, I would recommend a small shoulder pad, like they recommend in the dress pattern. However, if you've got wider shoulders or broader shoulders, then you probably won't need it. I find that I do not need it. My shoulders are already broad enough. They fill out that. I really can't think of too much more to go into. The lining is the lining. Usually I'm not too fussed about lining. I will just do it and get it done with because it needs to be done. Other than that, I can't think of much more to say. I will say that I really enjoyed this project, and I will be submitting it this weekend. By the time this video comes out, next week it will have already been submitted, but I won't know if I got a blue ribbon or a red ribbon or whatever ribbon. They use the Dutch system for these type of entries at my local fair, but I will do my best to remember to update you